It's a bear. It doesn't always get it right. Hey, good morning. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. As you know, as I always say, in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the cam up I haven't put up in a while, which is not in Lauderdale by the Sea, but our sister city, a couple cities up, is Deerfield Beach. The underwater cam here, one of my favorite cams, especially on clear days. It kind of just turned sideways on me, but there's some pretty cool barracudas and stuff out there earlier. However, we're not here to talk about ocean reports, dive reports, surfing reports. Oh, there's a barracuda. There he is right there, poking his head out. Two of them. Okay, I've seen them swimming around. A lot of people don't know this, but you can eat those under a certain size. They are safe in certain areas, but again, this is not a cooking show either. Okay, let's move along here. I do my little theme for the day, or my little meme theme, whatever you want to call it, my thought process for the day, and what's going on out there with Ukraine. I know this is not directly related to gold, but it really is if you think about it. War would cause the price of gold and silver just to go insane probably in a short period of time, but not the way you want to see it happening, and a lot of bad things would happen besides. So this is not what we want. And I like this saying, it's religious or not, this applies to everyone. I don't care what religion someone is, I don't care what mindset they are. If they're a good person, they understand that blessed are the peacemakers. One of my favorite politicians out there, for only the reason that he kind of preached this, regardless of what other practices he had, and the fact that he was not a soldier, but the fact that he was part of the big machine of war. Dwight D Eisenhower said the only answer to a regime that wages total Cold War is to wage total peace. And this has got me thinking about what we've got going on right now with our current administration and what they're actually doing. They're waging war, folks, and this is not a good thing. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but let's talk about precious metals first. I just kind of wanted to bring this up. I feel a lot of good people out there feel the exact same way I do about this. And again, I'll kind of get into it a little bit at the end here. And how does war affect the price of gold and silver? Do I even need to explain that? Okay, so it does tie into what we talk about on a daily basis here. Let's take a look at spot prices. I just updated them. Man, gold's looking good, 860 plus 860. As I had mentioned earlier in the week, we did see some temporary monkey hammering of gold and silver yesterday, but I think, I knew we were going to see monkey hammering, and I knew that we'd probably see up prices as well. And it didn't last long. The monkey hammering didn't last long because of the news wasn't exactly what they expected to monkey hammer precious metals on gold and silver. So we've got markets up in all three, except for platinum right down a little bit, but we'll discuss that as well. Let's see what the gold price is. 1822 the low, 1837 the high. Currently sitting at 1835, pretty much near the high. As we always do, we'll look at the 24-hour charts soon, and we'll try to make some sense of the 24-hour charts. When, how, who. Well, we can't tell who, but when and where. Let's take a look at the silver here, low of 22.89. Wow, that got whacked below 23. Probably the overnight markets, probably on Globex, the New York CME, the crooks at CME, in my opinion, Globex market, 22.90 and a high of 23.31. Currently sitting at 23.28. And platinum at a little bit over 1,000 seems to be a really good buy at this price, a low of 1,012 and a high of 1,037. So I'm liking the price of platinum right now. I still think it's way undervalued. Again, just my opinion, folks. Everything I do here is sharing my opinion, and I want you to form your own as well. Don't listen. Listen. You can listen to what I say, but I hope what I say is not like gospel per se, but stuff that you can add to your repertoire of knowledge as well. This is what I'm doing here, trying to share my knowledge of doing this for, how long have I been doing this now? 40 something years, man. A long time, since I was a kid. So let's take a look at the 24-hour markets here and see what we got going on. And I just refreshed that. And there's a 24-hour spot gold price. Overnight markets, this is us today. That would have been yesterday, would have been the red line. And of course, you can see what happened there, and then drifted off sideways into the Crimex and Globex markets. And by the way, Globex is owned by Crimex. Where are we at right now? There's your New York Open. See that little shaded line that you can just barely see? Take a look at when that spike happens. Look at that. See the spike? Look where this, what happened when New York opened? Boom, and there is my slingshot. Boom, back up. I'm gonna, that's exactly, I've been calling it a slingshot when it just kind of goes back up to where it started right there. But I'm gonna call that, what am I gonna call it? I'm gonna just call that a bounce, a bounce. And this is what I'm gonna call a slingshot, is when it goes down this fast and it immediately shoots up past where it was. So that's a slingshot. That'll be my forever definition of a slingshot right now. My crude use of, my crude terms for these kind of things. You can tell I'm definitely not a chartist, but I can read patterns, I can see things. I'm a macro picture kind of guy. So there you go. We're above 1830 in the Crimex markets right now, and let's see what silver is doing. Silver kind of drifted sideways, and again, I believe it was in the New York Globex markets, which is owned by Crimex. Drifted downward last night a little bit, and as you can see, sideways below that $23 mark. Oh, sorry about that. And not until, let's see, where is that? It looks like New York is where, and it's strange too. We did not follow yesterday's pattern. I noticed that for weeks now, a couple weeks now, gold and silver, you could almost lay the lines directly on top of each other, and they would, especially in the New York Crimex markets at when they open at 8:20, you could lay yesterday's lines. You could lay on top of each other, and you can see that here. Here's the red line. Ready? Watch. There's the red line right there, and you can see that almost same exact pattern. And let me take one more look. See that right there? Almost the exact same pattern what we had in gold, and that's been happening for quite some time. The two metals seem to be in unison on the charts, except for some weird days like today. Silver's kind of reacting all on its own. I think what we're seeing here is silver playing catch up with gold. I've been saying for a long time that where gold goes, silver will ultimately follow. Well, what do we've got going in gold? We've got strong gold prices, folks. And I don't think the people that are shorting COMEX market, they probably understand this. They understand that gold will, who wouldn't understand that? If you've been following gold and silver markets long enough, unless you're a complete idiot, you understand that gold will follow silver, period. That's what happens. But for it to exactly be the same, almost identical lines on a chart, to me is a bit unusual. However, I gotta admit, I've only been following charts the last couple years, or looking at them more closely, and it's not till the last 6 months I've actually learned a lot more. So I'm learning with you on this as well, but I can see patterns, I remember patterns. Is one thing my brain is actually good at, is recognizing patterns. And those patterns have been very, very close, gold and silver, except for today. It's really weird. Take a look at that. Silver just kind of completely on its own, and I mean gold, and there you go. Anyway, what's to make of that? I don't know, man. But there is some crazy stuff going on. You know what I think is happening? I believe gold is kind of chugging along a little bit. I think we're going to just continue to see upward movement in gold. I think gold market is very healthy. It looks very healthy to me. It's been getting knocked down a little bit overall, though the trend has been up for gold. And as I said, gold and silver markets, I think when they're working properly, for the most part, they move like snails. They don't move in 45-degree lines. They really do move like snails. The best bull markets I've ever seen weren't when you saw the 45-degree. See that 45-degree line right there? Not when we saw a 45-degree. The best markets are when you see it move up $5 or $10. I remember. What was it with gold? I remember for a while gold was moving up $10 and it would move down 7 or 8, then move up another 8 or 10, and it was just kind of a solid line upward. These things are kind of, I don't like seeing these. I don't think that's a healthy market, either upside or down. Maybe the beginning when the public catches on, that's a good sign, but again, these increments, small increments are better to me. And where was I going with this? I was talking about silver. Gosh darn it, and I kind of I kind of got off track, but you know me, if you've been listening to my videos, I go off track sometimes. I kind of look that gold is the leader in this market right now, and silver, and of course gold is going to cause silver to go up with it. I believe there's a lot of forces out there, manipulative forces. I even think crooks, to be honest with you, on the Crimex, NYMEX, COMEX markets. And again, this is my opinion that they're crooks. They're allowing this big commercial short positions to go in there and hammer the price of silver. However, silver wants to follow its big brother gold, and that's what it's trying to do. Imagining silver, I like this little analogy. Silver is kind of like a hyper racing greyhound on a leash. Imagine putting a very hyperactive greyhound, they're already hyperactive to begin with, on a leash, okay? And then letting the greyhound's brother dog or sister dog just run off. You know what the greyhound's gonna do? It's gonna jump up and down. What do we got going on here with Silver? We got this kind of stuff. It's gonna go jump up and down. It's gonna be back and forth and excited. I'm looking at Silver like a hyper greyhound on a leash, folks. I know that's a strange analogy. And what happens when you let the greyhound off the leash? Well, that's probably when we start to see that more 45-degree trajectory. However, I think that you will only see Silver play catch up with gold as far as the ratio goes. I honestly believe gold will lead. Well, oh man, a thought occurred to me that I keep forgetting that silver is an industrial metal as well, and there's industrial uses. One of the things with gold is almost all the gold ever mined is still above ground and still in the hands of people, except for stuff lost in shipwrecks buried underground. But most all the gold ever mined is in the hands of people, for sure, in the hands of central banks, in the hands of investors, jewelry people, but not so with silver. Silver, there's been more silver pounds or silver tons thrown away than I think there are above ground gold or something like that. Silver's been disposed of, lost in the ground. We use it in industrial uses, and it gets thrown into landfills. It doesn't get recovered. So that's a little thing that I keep forgetting. And also in the new technologies, the green technologies that are going to be coming up. And I like green technologies. I think it should happen. It shouldn't be forced. It should happen naturally, organically, when the markets are able to handle it. We should be moving to green technology. But silver is going to be very much in the use in green technology. So I could be wrong on this. Silver could actually take off dramatically and double in price and have the ratio come down to 15-to-1 or something like that. But meanwhile, no matter what, the silver, again, I believe that gold is the leader. As gold moves up, silver is going to just go up with it like a hyper greyhound on a leash. Again, I know that's a strange analogy. What's happening in markets today? Equity markets. I've been following equity markets, and by the way, let's just take a look for, pardon the expression, but shits and giggles here at my fake portfolio. How's my fake portfolio doing? Not too bad considering. Not today, but at some point I'll show you, because one of the things that I think you need to be diversified out there, and I don't know shit about stocks, so I'm learning right now. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my learning with you guys and look in comments and see what you guys suggest at all. We'll have some fun with this. At some point, though, I am going to jump into the equity markets for sure, because again, I think anybody that's smart shouldn't put all their eggs in one basket, should have, but I don't. The market is just too crazy for me. I mean, I look at it from the outside, I'm thinking, why would I buy in at the top of a potentially collapsing market? So I'm going to wait, and as soon as that happens, I'm going to jump in. I'll let you know. What have we been talking about? Yesterday was a CPI rate. My video yesterday was about the CPI hike and that we'd see gold prices and silver prices go up, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Today, even though we did see some monkey hammering yesterday, I think that they were poised to do the monkey hammering either way, and that's why we got the slingshot. They gave it a shot. There we go. There's yesterday's monkey hammering, and then what happened? They got stuck back up their bums. And the same thing with this in silver, especially silver was nice to see. Is that yesterday, actually, we had an update. They didn't kind of get stuck. Well, we had first thing in the morning, there's your dip down there, and there's your up day. But man, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. And again, silver is just chomping at the bit. Well, is that a horse that chomps at the bit, I guess? We could use the horse as an analogy as well. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, CPI. I was talking about CPI. Sorry about that. You know me, I go off track. The CPI yesterday came in probably about as expected, and it's still, I live near the fire department. Sorry about that. Oh, why do I say I'm sorry? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, as Pee Wee Herman would say. But let's take a look at here and see what we got. The new, this is the, I'm sorry, God, I got a little tongue-tied. Don't get dizzy. I'm going up here, and I'm going to have to take that cursor back down. Let me see if I can close that. That's annoying. This is the United States Misery Index, and this one is indexed by month, which is kind of interesting to look at because they do update it monthly. And I am really curious. Let me kind of go down here, and I'll do that as fast as possible. I am really curious what the next print on the Misery Index is going to be. As you can see, unemployment rates, this is the blue, have started to decline. And of course, you know, in the this particular era right here under the last administration, you know, we were in the full, before the critter came along there, we were in unemployment. So there's the unemployment number coming down drastically. Inflation is in the red. Well, not too much of an issue under the last administration, but as you notice, the unemployment figures, as we expected, as economies get to open up after the boneheads close the economy, actually after the morons across the world have closed the economy, ruined the economy basically with their draconian mandates. But I'm not going to go there. You can see unemployment rates are starting to pick up as we expected. Nothing because of this person, just because the world is starting to open up again. However, inflation rates, who can you blame that on? You can blame that on the Federal Reserve. You can blame that under the administration under him, the last administration, administrations prior to them, central bankers. Well, they're doing the best they can, folks. Remember what I said, central bankers are merely captains of the Titanic, and their job is to keep the passengers calm as the ship slowly sinks under the water, and that's what they do. But no less, take a look at inflation rates, 10.94. We're going to be heading towards the Carter era here with inflation rates. And this is a really weird line, though. Look, employment's high, but inflation is super high. They're saying it's it's a transitory inflation. And that may be true for some products. I mean, think about this. A lot of mines were shut down across the world, so there's going to be a lag time on that. And commodities, and a lot of commodities are used to make products, not so much services, but products out there. And this is why we're seeing rising prices in products, because the commodities used to build them and the food and everything like that, there was a close down. There was a shutdown for a year, folks. In my opinion, an unneeded shutdown, but and a harming and damaging shutdown done by, all right, you know my opinion, so I'm not going to go there. But the CPI index is, let's see what happens. I think we may sail into higher territories right here. I don't think we've seen the end of this transitory inflation. And I do believe prices will come down. I really do believe that on a lot of products but I think then all of a sudden I think we're going to get into an oversupply issue as well, because they're just ramping up everything right now as fast as they can. And once they ramp up, and they do that for a year, we're going to have too much product, I think, on our hand. But no less, I think inflation is here to stay, folks. And who wouldn't think inflation is here to stay? Look at this. Purchasing power of consumer dollar in the U.S. city, average U.S. city. And this is since 1920, since the Fed took over. Basically, you can see, and here's when we got off the gold standard. You can see that line just accelerate downward when we started. This is our war years. This is, but it gets worse from here. This line right here, you see going down, folks. It's never going back up. Get over it. If you don't believe that, you're suffering some form of cognitive dissonance here. And I don't blame you, because the government and the Fed jawbones something totally different than what the actual reality is. Oh, the dollar's stronger. That's the common phrase you hear from people that don't understand what a stronger dollar really means. A stronger dollar means it's stronger against the other currencies, okay, the ruble and all this. That's what stronger dollar does not mean it buys you more. Look at this chart. If you think stronger dollar means buying you more, then you have no clue what they mean when they say stronger dollar. It means the purchasing power of the consumer dollar in the U.S. average city is declining worse and worse and worse. And actually, if I kind of close in on this line right here, it's even decelerating even faster and going down even faster. So anyone that believes that inflation is simply transitory, hyperinflation may be transitory, but inflation is not transitory at all. No less, I think we're going to see this even get worse, the misery index higher and higher. And you know what? What do presidents and what do leaders all over the world like to do when they're in big trouble? Well, they like to create some big events, some big problems or something like that, and invent problems. And I think that's exactly what we got going on with this current administration right now. And I'm going to get into that in a moment. And here's kind of where I'm going right here. How does this play in with the gold and silver? Well, listen, if there is a war, folks, buy all the frickin' gold and silver you can, because this will not be good at all, okay? So that's my kind of thinking. Let me know what you think in comments. Do you think that a war, if we got a shooting war with Russia, even limited, do you think the price of gold and silver would skyrocket? I do. And the dollar would take a shit even bigger. Tell me what you think in comments. Again, I want your opinion. I want the viewers' opinion on this. So let me know. Before I get into that ZH article real quick, best deals out there. There's one thing I am the expert in on YouTube, as big, if not as more expert than any of the YouTube talking heads out there. Yeah, I'm going to take credit for this. I know physical products. I've been in this business since 1977. I was actually in it before that, going to shows with my father as a little kid. Precious metals, rare coins, and paper money. I know precious metal products really, really well, okay? I don't know every product made out there. I don't know every manufacturer or every mint out there, but I can tell you what is a good deal and what is not a good deal, what you should probably buy and what you probably should not buy. That is my expertise here. And what I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna stick with what I've said for the longest time, make it simple today. What you should be buying in precious metals, you need to separate your desire for pretty, shiny shit with the stacking mentality. The stacking mentality, I think the proper stacking mentality, if you're looking at gold and silver simply as a hedge, is to buy it the cheapest possible premium you can for a recognizable product. And when I say recognizable product, I don't mean recognizable by your neighbor, your best friend, or even yourself. When I say recognizable product, I mean industry recognized by a majority of people in the industry of precious metals, the wholesalers, the dealers. Buy the cheapest premium product that you can for a industry recognizable product, and you will not go wrong. What's the best deals out there right now? I think I think I can get some more kilo bars right now. I'm not a big fan of kilos, man, but the price point is really damn good. I might be able to get kilo bars for spot plus 275 or less if I can still find the source of them. I'm looking right now. Other than that, 100-ounce bars are the best deal out there at spot plus 3 1/4 or spot plus $3 and less, depending on the quantity that you're buying. 1 ounce and 10-ounce generics are the best deal out there as well. You should be able to pick them up from your local dealers at spot plus 350 or less. And again, cheapest recognizable product, recognizable in the industry. And let me go to where I want to go here. Now, if you do that, and over the course of 100 or a couple hundred ounces, you can go buy yourself some really cool, pretty, shiny stuff, collectible stuff that gives you the satisfaction of looking at, all right? It could be anything in here. And you can justify spending it because you basically got it for free because you didn't spend big premiums on your stack, okay? So my opinion is save as much money on this kind of stack. Who cares what it looks like, bars or whatever, recognizable product, put it away. Don't get hung up in paying big premiums, unless it's for the one that you got for free by saving your money on your generic stuff. Well, let's take a look at gold here. I'm going to talk about gold, but the same thing applies to gold as well. Stick with the cheaper stuff. Bars are the cheapest right now. You should be able to pick up bars for spot plus $75 or less, depending on the quantity that you're buying. I got a great deal on Krugerrands. I can beat the pants off of Amex, SD bullion, and JM bullion because I've got a ton of them right now until I run out. But I will beat the pants off those guys. I usually match or beat them by a little bit because it's pretty easy for me to do, and I can still leave a buck on the table for myself. And there's nothing wrong with Amex, JM, and SD bullion, by the way. I respect them as big online retailers, but I'm a very competitive local guy, and if I can beat them and keep the business in town, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what your local dealer should do. And if you don't have a local dealer that does that, because I only deal locally here in Lauderdale by the Sea, in South Florida, I'm sorry, so you have to come see me 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. I don't deal online, I don't deal on the phone. I'm old-fashioned brick and mortar, so I recommend you find a good old-fashioned brick and mortar out there that you can deal directly face-to-face, get instantly paid, and buy stuff instantly as well, or put it on order with that person. And you keep your money in your community. Again, I advertise to beat the big 800-pound gorillas, Amex, SD, and JM. I think they're the 800-pound gorillas out there. And anyways, what's the best deal I got again? Krugerrands and gold bars. I would avoid American Eagles. Love them. They're cheaper than they have been in a long time, but premiums are still too high. Maples are too high. What else? A lot of these products right here are too high, and as much pretty as they are, folks, stick with that mentality. Buy the 1 ounce Swiss credits, Perth mints, or the Valcombe 1 ounce gold bars, which are on here, and you'll be able to pick them up for 75 or 80 bucks. And here's the cool thing about this. For the same price as a gold eagle, you could buy these 1 ounce gold bars plus maybe an ounce or two of silver. Which is a better deal? a 1 ounce gold coin with a high premium, or an ounce gold coin plus 2 ounces of silver. Think about it from that standpoint, and maybe you'll get what I'm talking about. ZH, here's what I'm talking about. I think that this administration and the administration in UK seem to be pushing for war in the Ukraine area. Ask me why I know about Ukraine, because my girlfriend's from Ukraine, and I took it on myself to kind of learn about the region and follow the news on a daily basis. And the truth of the matter in Ukraine, folks, is that the United States, Ambassador Newland, if you go back and look and type in under Google, Ambassador Newland leaked conversation, we had a coup. In the United States, the CIA, Ambassador Newland, the CIA back in the time, I think this was under the Obama administration, initiated a coup in Ukraine, taking the elected Russian president that was the head of Ukraine. He was really elected. I mean, if you believe in elections, I don't know. But if you believe in election credibility, they took Newland, and the United States CIA took the elected president out and installed their own. Now, and again, this is a fact. This is not made up. This is not a story or anything like that. So the United States actually, we had a coup in Ukraine, which caused, and Ukraine is made up of a lot of ethnic groups. And on the east side of Ukraine is mostly Russians who've lived there for centuries as well, hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's a very mixed ethnic area. United States went in there and stirred up a lot of shit, man. We caused the president to leave, and we put the current president in power. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is why the east side of Russia is pissed off. I'm giving it to you in a nutshell. This is why the east side of Russia broke away from Kiev, because of that coup that the CIA in the United States threw, okay? And we did it. You can research this yourself, folks. If you take a little time, you'll find out it's true. Again, the key word, Ambassador Newland leaked a phone call, okay? That'll get you started. And so anyway, we installed our own president there, and no wonder we took a country that was somewhat peaceful to some degree, even though economically it was real shit, and we threw it into turmoil. We did, the Obama administration at the time, and we threw it into complete turmoil, okay? And here we are dealing with this today. And now you've got the current administration. Not only that, this current administration and the current party that's in charge, has been running this narrative Russian Cold War bullshit for a long time. There are no peacemakers. Remember, they started this election thing at first, and then they went into, all right, you know where I'm going with this. So I think that we have lost any peacemakers, and the party that's supposed to be the party of peacemakers, the party that calls themselves liberals, are not anything but. And I'm not saying much about the other party either. Where have the peacemakers gone? All right, there are none. There's just war hawks. And what are they using this current Ukraine situation for? They're using the current Ukraine situation to take away your view of what's going to happen. Well, hold on. They're starting this problem is to not make you think about how badly this current administration has fucked everything up, okay? And how badly they have done it for years, starting a new Cold War over a Russian narrative that turned out to be untrue, all right? They started a Cold War over this, folks. Now they're trying to take your minds off it by starting a little war, because people like to rally around a war. They rally around presidents and stuff during wartime. They don't want you to remember that we created all this stuff. They don't want you to know that it wasn't the Critter 19 that screwed up this world. It was their draconian mandates that screwed up this world and screwed up the economy. It wasn't the Critter. It was them, folks. Don't ever let them blame it on the Critter. It was them. Same thing if we get into a war with Russia and this Cold War. It wasn't Russia's fault, folks. It's them. It's them, all right? And the fact that I don't hear the other side, the red side, saying much about this and complaining just tells me there's many war hawks on the red side, and they don't mind letting Biden bumble through this thing. Complete fucking nonsense, folks. This entire world needs a shake-up. We need to just shake all these people out of here. It's not good. Anyway, Cold Wars are never good. And what does this have to do with gold and silver? Again, if we start getting into a shooting war, it even looks something similar. I don't think they want to go that far. I think this is all bullshit. But it has started a brand new Cold War, and who the fuck needed that? None of us. All right. But if it does go into a Cold War, frickin' just start stacking all the gold and silver you can. Not just a Cold War, but into actually a shooting war. We get into that situation, folks. Our economy is over. Your safest bet in gold and silver, in my opinion, because what happens in a war, whether it's China or Russia, cyber war comes in. All of a sudden they shut down electricity. Now you don't have access to bank accounts. Now you don't have access to internet possibly. And don't you think for a moment that if we get in a war with China or Russia, the first thing will be our infrastructure and cyber warfare. And we'll be doing the same thing to them. And the whole point of this, where the fuck are the peacemakers in D.C.? They're on neither side, all right? We're in trouble, man. We're in trouble with these people. All right, I'm going to move along. Boy, I gave you a good one today. CPI hikes, I'd like to thank. By the way, my father, if you can tell, I'm a little testy today, but I've had a long week. Lots to think about, and my father's doing, so far we haven't heard anything bad, so they're doing tests on him and he's doing okay. So for all you folks out there, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I mean, take a look at this. I even had family that didn't even call to say anything, so this says a lot to me, and I really appreciate all of you out there. Yesterday's video was about the CPI hikes, metal spike, and kind of what I said over the last week has kind of come true. And no, I don't have a crystal ball, I'm not a genius, but I do recognize patterns, and sometimes these patterns can tell you things. Maybe I'm becoming a chartist. Chart guy, where the hell are you? I'd like to see some comments, what you're thinking here. I'd like to thank everybody here for watching. I'm going to try to answer a few things here. Just wondering, with Florida using Bitcoin, we have to learn about it and use it in your store. I don't have to do anything I don't want to. So I doubt. I don't know what Florida's using it for, but if they want to use it, that's fine. But it doesn't mean I need to do that, and you as well, I guess. Thank you very much, Linda, about my dad. I appreciate that. And 17% inflation, possibly. Let me see. Again, I can't mention all the names here. I want to kind of roll through here. I don't want to make this the longest video of the week. It looks like it might be, too. Let's take a look. And you know me, I can just go on and on and on. Monkey hammering is a serious crime. Okay, we talk about this all the time, John. Can't argue with that. Gold out and death penalty. That's a little bit harsh. John, I tell you what, I would put you in charge of the prisons, that's for sure. Thanks for watching. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Miller. I really do. And that is true. Thank you very much. And let's see here. Again, I'd like to acknowledge everybody that you see, all your names right here. I'd like to acknowledge you and thank you for commenting. Tommy says, metal spike, really, when and where? Then they slightly went up this morning, came back down fast as they usually do, on 100% about Tommy, they're right in front of your eyes. Take a look here. Where spike? Yesterday's spike was right. Where is it? There's yesterday's spike. Where is our red line? What is that? Spiky. And there's another spiky. So yeah, it did spike, man. Spiked up and down. Kind of what we somewhat expected too. Some monkey hammering. Silver, same way, spiked down a little bit. Wasn't that much though. And then we did have that big spike upwards. So not quite sure what you didn't see that I did, or vice versa. But thanks for watching, Tommy. I really appreciate it. And I think we're, again, like I said, with silver, I think it's like a hyper greyhound on a leash, and I think gold is like the person that's walking that dog. Well, not walking that dog, well, maybe a little bit, but gold is very solid and looks like it's doing well. So, Tommy, don't worry about it. Keep stacking and buy the dips if you can. If you don't worry about it. Just relax. You're going to see how you're going to look back on these prices one day and go, God, I remember when gold used to be below 2,000. I remember when silver used to be below 50. We're all going to say that, providing we live long enough. And I don't mean 100 years either. Randy, you don't seem to go say anything. Just time spent with your dad. Hey, thank you, Randy. And I read every one of these, by the way, yesterday. And I'd like to thank every one of you guys for your comments and your well wishes as well. Thanks. I'm going to try to answer what I can here. Not too much in the questions of what we talked about. Trump, yeah, I kind of want to avoid this because I can go off on that, heart of Texas. And boy, it just goes downhill from here. I think we need, if we don't make major changes in the midterms and the next elections coming up, I mean on both sides of the fence too, we're in trouble, folks. We need to get some good people in there, and you can't vote on sound bites. That's what I'm finding out running for election here in town is people vote on sound bites. They vote on literally, they get a little flyer in the mail, and all of a sudden those 4 bullet points become what they're going to vote on. Really? Anyways. I digress again. Think for yourself. I'm going to close this out with my theme for the year, which is think for yourself, question authority, and most of all, question your own narrative. You want to be a smarter person, question what you know, and get in conversations, civil conversations with people that you disagree with, because you'll do two things. You'll either, if you're a smart person, you'll learn that you may be wrong and you'll change your thoughts, or they'll make you smarter by learning more about what you do believe. Well, hey, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Call me anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out. If you live in South Florida, I am the guy you want to see as far as precious metals, rare coins, paper money, and other things. But precious metals is most of what we talk about here. I keep threatening to do coin videos. I will one day. And I advertise to be APMEX, JM, SD Bullion because I can and I'm competitive. Nothing wrong with those guys. And so should your local dealer. And if you don't have a local dealer, and you don't live in my neighborhood and you don't have a local dealer, whatever state or part of whatever state you live in besides Florida, find one. Keep that money at least in your state. Don't ship it out of town. That was, again, you got to find a competitive guy to do that. Hey, thanks for watching. Let's see what happens, and I think good times are ahead for precious metal people. I hope I can say the same about our country as well. Have a great day.